Yeah. Once again, it's on. Back at you one more again. Real Kens TV in the house like kitchen sinks. First of all, I'm going to take the time to apologize for you all for the view, the angle, or what have you. As I was setting up to bring you all this video, my stand just completely shattered. But guess what? We're going to make it do what it do, and the show must go on. Now, I'm sitting here reflecting, as, you all know that I do every day. And I'm thinking about some wild moments, some crazy, crazy times in the penitentiary. Now, as I'm doing so, I say, you know what, let me check my emails. realkenstv@yahoo.com. So I'm looking over my many, many emails that I received from the viewers, and I'm so gracious and thankful that you all take the time to email me. And one individual had asked me, why did they stop serving chicken in the penitentiaries? And I'm like, wow, I had a loss for words, because I know that they no longer serve chicken in the Kentucky penitentiaries, but I don't know about other states. Now, before I get into this afternoon's video, if you will, just understand that I am the self-proclaimed Mr. 30 Minutes or Better. Meaning that anytime I bring you a story, it's guaranteed to be 30 minutes or longer. So if you're on your way to work, you're at work, you don't feel like being there, your coworkers are talking your head off, getting on your nerves, you're on your way home from work, you need to laugh, you need to cry. Maybe you're trying to lay down and take a nap, or you're trying to go to sleep at night, depending on whatever time you're listening or viewing this video. Or perhaps you're just in the mood for a good old-fashioned true, keyword being true, penitentiary/life story. This is the channel for you. So you prefer the 8, 9, 10-minute videos, 15-minute videos. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But at Real Kens TV, we 30 minutes or better, no pun intended. Now, with all that being said and wrapped up into a big, big, big nutshell, there is a message. As I said, I was reflecting back and I was thinking about this, and this was like, wow. Because this is a big, big, like in penitentiary, chicken day, oh, it's a huge day. That's not like a regular day. You have certain days in prison to where, the ballers, they may even come out. You got chicken day. You got pizza day. The little square or the rectangular pizzas that they used to serve in school with the corn and the salad, and you might get a piece of cake. People's coming out for that. It's on lunch days. Well, at lunchtime, rather. You got burgers. You got the Polish sausages. Taco salads, tacos. There are certain days, chicken patties. Certain days, the chow hall is going to be capacitated. Is that even the right word? Now, I know I easily could have said, to capacity, but I want to be a little, capacitated. Yeah, it was fully capacitated. And so, when you look around, it's like, wow, I'm saying, dude, they eat straight out of their locker. If you're not familiar with the prison system, if you got money, you're a penitentiary baller, or just your people's looking out for you, and you able to go to the store and spend 100, 125, 150 a week, you never really have to go to the chow hall. So you look around, like I said, you just see certain individuals that are in there, and you're not normally used to seeing those. Well, on this particular day, because I was in the chow hall, I got money, I got money in the penitentiary, sent to me or whatever. And in certain places, I was really, really getting that bread. But nevertheless, no matter how much I had money, sent in or what have you, or how much money I had on my books, I'm going to that chow hall on certain days. Certain days I didn't go. Certain days I would go. I'm in the chow hall one day, and I see Big Blizzy. I see Big Blizzy and E. Whenever you see Big Blizzy, you're going to see E. Whenever you see E, you're going to see Big Blizzy. They from Hoptown, man. Shout out to Hoptown, man. You know what I mean? Hoptown, Kentucky. Christian County. Solid dudes, man. Big Blizzy, man. Big Blizzy, man. He was a gorilla, man. You know what I'm saying? He was a dark-skinned brother. He had like the locks. They weren't very long, but they probably came down to his shoulder. I know he was every bit of, I'm not really too good at guessing weight. So a lot of times I read my comments and people say, hey, Kens, why you say everybody's 220, 225, 230? Because most of the time, the gorillas, that's typically about what I would say that they would, weigh in prison. So I want to say Big Blizzy was probably about 240. Laid back dude, man. Didn't bother nobody, man. It was just a laid, soft-spoken dude. You asked me how tall he was. I don't know. I don't know. 5'11". Big Blizzy was 5'11". A strong 5'11". Then you got E. E was probably about 5'10". Bald head dude. Wasn't, he was caramel complected. Big E wasn't no little dude either. Big E was, well, not Big E, but you technically could call him Big E because he was a big dude. But E was probably a solid 220. A solid 220. He was probably stronger than Big Blizzy on the weight pile. But nevertheless, these two dudes, man, they would kick it and hang out. And they were from the same hometown. So that's why I said when you seen one, you seen both. I seen him in the chow hall that day. Now, typically, Big Blizzy, you didn't really catch him in the chow hall. You would see E in the chow hall, but not Big Blizzy. But on that chicken day, them chicken quarters, oh man, like I mentioned before, everybody, you subject to see almost everybody in the chow hall. They're in the very, very back of the line. So basically, I'm already sitting down at the table. They're coming in, and it's like a long line. So, they're having to wait, just a typical line. They get closer and closer. Now, I'm not knowing what's about to go down, so it's not like I'm just sitting there staring and, trying to, see exactly the movement and what everybody's doing or what have you. So, you're just looking around, keeping your head on the swivel in the penitentiary. And I see them getting closer and closer to the line, to the front of the line. But when they get to the front of the line, I'm about to leave. Because at this point, the chow hall is very, very small in prison. And a lot of people say that it's kind of similar to like how the military is. Because you eat and then you leave. You can't just sit there and just, conversate and for 30 minutes or whatever. Now, if the chow hall is not full, yeah. But like if chicken day, oh man, you got to eat and be gone. It's just the way that it works. I'm about to take my tray to the front. Drop my tray off. Leave the chow hall. I see E and Big Blizzy. They kind of going back and forth with the dude on the chow hall line that was serving the chicken, that was handing the chicken out. Jim Bob. Jim Bob was a white dude. He was I guess Jim Bob was somewhat of a convict. He was a convict. There's a difference between a convict and an inmate. He had done a lot of time. Had tattoos everywhere, whatever, which having tattoos don't make you a convict, but I'm just giving you all I'm trying to paint the picture for you. He had a bunch of tattoos. Jim Bob was probably about the same height as Big Blizzy, about 5'11". And, he was a solid dude. I say he was weighing in at probably about 230, 240 also. He's handing out the chicken. Now, they didn't already peep game. Okay, as he's handing out the chicken, there's always an Aramark worker. An Aramark worker, the company Aramark, they'll stand there and watch you pass out the food, especially like on chicken day. Well, it was a cool dude on. He wasn't really tripping or whatever. He had went to the back. So when he went to the back, Jim Bob had already had the chicken wrapped up in like a saran wrap, had it tightly wrapped. He tossed, he hands it off to one of his partners that comes through. He takes the chicken out of the chow hall. Jim Bob and E gets to the front of the line. Actually, it's probably about 10 people, 10, 12 people in front of them. Sorry, guys, there's no more chicken. We ran out of chicken. We didn't cook enough. We're going to have to, do a substitute. Do a substitute? What you mean y'all going to do a substitute? This is other inmates that are in front of them. Yeah, we're going to have to do a substitute, guys. And this wasn't anything that was abnormal. These type of things happen all the time, especially on the, chicken pizza, chicken patties and tacos, the things that I mentioned that people like to go to the chow hall for. That happens all the time. And I'm going to explain to you, for you all that have never been to prison. See, if you've been to prison, you already know. But if you've never been to prison, I'm going to explain to you why these things tend to happen. Yeah, we're going to have to get you a substitute, guys. It's going to be about 10 minutes or so. So guys in line, upset, angry. There's people behind Big Blizzy and E, but you got to eat. You see what I'm saying? You may not be happy about the situation, but you got to eat. Probably about 10 minutes goes past. They come out with the subs. bologna sandwiches. So you got on a chicken tray, you may have chicken. You got the chicken quarters. You may have macaroni and cheese. You may have cornbread, and a piece of cake. So all of those things you still had, there was just no chicken. They come with the bologna sandwiches. No cheese, anything, just straight bologna sandwiches. As one could imagine, nobody's happy about that. Nobody's happy about that whatsoever. You mean to tell me that I was supposed to get chicken and I didn't get my chicken? You all come with some bologna sandwiches? So, people were giving some resistance. They were saying what they were saying, but they would take the tray and go on. By the time Big Blizzy and E got to the front of the line, bro, what's up with that, man? What's up with that, bro? Now, the Airmark worker, he had went back to the back because he's trying to make sure that everything is, being ran accordingly or whatever. So a lot of times he's back and forth, especially if it's a cool one. They're talking to Jimbo. And so I don't remember if it was Jimbo or Jim Bob. So if you hear me say Jimbo or Jim Bob from time to time, I don't remember which one it was. I think it was Jim Bob, to be honest. But I don't know. Jimbo and Jim Bob. He got two names today. They're talking to Jim Bob like, hey, bro, that was some foul. It was kind of foul, man. Jimbo, what are you talking about, man? Man, we seen you pass that chicken off, man. Now, we can't eat chicken. We got to eat bologna sandwiches, man. Man, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. Okay, you right. So they going back and forth. The Airmark worker comes up there. He's arguing with the Airmark worker. Nah, man, y'all need to get... Nah, I ain't accepting this. I'm not accepting no bologna sandwiches. Everybody else got chicken. Y'all can go back there and fix something else. Well, there's always an explanation for it. Basically, the way that he explained it was, they do the data and the analysis, if you will, the numbers in prison, just like they do numbers anywhere else. So typically on, certain days, you have this amount of people that typically come to the chow hall. So they're saying he tried to say, well, we didn't fix enough chicken. Well, we'll wait. Go on back there and fix it. We'll wait. We'll wait on the chicken. Basically, they ran out of chicken. But the Airmark worker didn't want to admit that. He's arguing with the Airmark worker. They're not cussing each other out, but they're arguing. But you could tell, that there was definitely something that was going on. Typically in prison, you see no evil, you hear no evil, you mind your business. So I see this going on. I'm not going to lie, this day I was kind of, meddling a little bit. Taking my time, taking my tray to the window and walking out. I was kind of meddling. I see Roger's fat ass come over. I've talked about Rogers in prior videos, man. Rogers was a CEO. Rogers weighed about 400. White dude. Short, dark, black hair. Walked around just like he was so tough. Rogers was probably... I don't know how tall Rogers was. Maybe about 6'2", 6'3". And he was very, very, soft-spoken. Like, hey, guys, I need you guys to go back into the dorm. If you don't go back into the dorm, everybody's getting a write-up. Soft-spoken type of individual, if you will. I done seen Rogers get whooped. I done seen Rogers get knocked out. I done seen Rogers, his whole claim to fame because he choked the dude out one time. Well, you choked the dude out that was in a wheelchair, dude. So, yeah, you should have choked him out. And you almost got whooped that day. So since he choked the dude out that was in a wheelchair, Rogers really, really thought that he was that guy. Write you up at the drop of a dime. Write you up at the drop of a dime. I done seen him write people up that when you first walk into the chow hall, you're supposed to take your toboggan, your hat off. Well, it's 3 degrees below. You done walked a half a mile to get to the chow hall. You trying to warm up. As soon as you walk in the door, you're not thinking about your hat. You're trying to warm up. He comes along, takes people's hats, takes people's toboggans, knowing that they have to walk way back to the dorm. Everything else on the yard is closed down because, as far as schooling and things of like that nature, because it's so cold outside, it's a winter weather advisory. He's taking people's toboggans and writing them up. Nasty. Big, nasty, sloppy 12 sandwich, 40-ounce drinking. Like, he's just a nasty individual, man. And it's not his appearance, it's his inner. You see what I'm saying? It's his attitude, his frame of mind, how he treats people. That's what makes people nasty, in my opinion. Rogers comes over. What's the problem? What's the problem, guys? Uh, Everybody else got chicken, man. We eating bologna sandwiches, man. We've been out working all day, you know what I'm saying? Because in prison, you got to have a job. And I got to come in here and eat a bologna sandwich. So, of course, the Airmark worker, we tried to tell him and explain to him that, we ran out of chicken because we didn't fix enough, because we didn't anticipate the crowd that we had today. So, to suffice that, we have the bologna sandwiches. And, nah, man, ain't nobody trying to eat no bologna, man. Ain't nobody trying to eat no bologna. We take care of this whole prison, and this is what you give us, bologna? Rogers. Well, listen, guys, either you're going to take the tray or you're not. You're holding up the line. You're going to take the tray. Otherwise, you need to leave the chow hall. You leave the chow hall. Do you want some bologna? It's obvious that you don't eat bologna like that. Do you want bologna? Well, maybe you do eat bologna, Rogers. But I'm just saying, if you got chicken and you got bologna, which one do you want? So E's going back and forth. Big Blizzy ain't really saying nothing, man. He's just kind of chilling. E's going back and forth with him. Again, Rogers is about 6'3". I want to say he's about 6'3", 400 pounds. And if he's not 400, he's knocking on the door. He's about, I don't know. He's not nowhere near Rogers' size. Weighing in at about 220, 225. They going back and forth. Next thing you know, Rogers gets on some aggression, acting like he's tough. I don't understand why certain CEOs have to resort to that. You act as though you tough, knowing that you not tough. Knowing that you feel as though because you have that badge and them handcuffs and that spray, that bird spray that you wear on your hip, and that blue uniform, that does not make you tough. As I mentioned, they was going back and forth. E was saying stuff. Rogers was saying stuff. Rogers said something aggressive. He was like, you got the right one, big boy. Because I'm not dude in the wheelchair. Everybody, the whole yard knew about it. I'm not dude in the wheelchair, man. I'd knock your fat ass out. Excuse my... That's what he said. That's what he said. I was right there. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? He runs up on E. Blink up. One punch. Slept him. Knocked him straight out. See, the thing about it is, in prison, a lot of people get knocked out, man. You see a whole lot of people get knocked out. I'm not saying that every time somebody gets hit, they go to sleep. But oftentimes, the person goes to sleep. If you're not used to fighting, you got that much weight on you, and the body, the face is not meant to be hit. So if you're a boxer or something like that, you get trained. That's why you see the boxers, they do a whole lot of the neck exercises and things like that, because they have to train themselves to get hit. But if you're just a regular civilian, an individual, and somebody hits you in your jaw and they hit you hard enough, man, you probably going to bed. Don't matter how big they are, don't matter how big you are, you probably going to go to bed. So I don't advocate violence, but if you ever find yourself in a situation and you just have to just get your way out of it, you have to fight, man, you catch him in his jaw. That's not the only place, the nose and, the equilibrium, the ear. But I'm just saying, if you catch somebody flush in the jaw, man, they going to bed, man. Rogers went to bed, man. E had knocked Rogers all the way out, man. Everybody's laughing. Dudes in the chow halls laugh. Ah, they cheering or whatever. Of course, they get signal 7, whatever. Signal chow hall. So they all run in or whatever. They run over to Rogers as though he just got shot or something. But the way he got hit, the way E hit him, it sounded like somebody been shot. So obviously they rough E up, put his hands behind his back or whatever, take him to the hole. Everything ended up resuming. They had to walk Rogers out. Rogers, man, he was swaying, man. He didn't know what was going on. Like, he had the Holy Ghost, man. He had, 2 people, one on each side. And, he's a big dude, as I mentioned. He's damn near 400. So they walking him out, man. The whole chow hall was laughing. I looked around. Some of the COs was even kind of smirking a little bit. Because they knew how Rogers was towards the inmates, man. This dude was a genuine jerk towards inmates, man. And nobody liked him. And Rogers went on to get in a car wreck on his way home from work one night and broke his back and injured very, very bad. I believe his neck, and we never seen Rogers again. So Rogers, if you're out there, you happen to see this video, hope you're okay, big boy. But nevertheless, they had to continue feeding. You can't just not feed everybody. So everybody got fed or what have you. Back to the dorm. Later on that night, once the yard shut down, yards closed down at about, probably about 8:15. Everybody comes back to the dorm. You've been, worked out, been to the weight pile or the basketball court or just whatever. You come back, you get your shower, whatever, put your food in the microwave. Now it's time to eat. Now it's time to eat, man. Big Blizzy's upset, man, because now his dog was gone. E's gone. So now he's looking at Jim Bob. Jim Bob's selling, he's selling, you know what I'm saying, like he's on the block or whatever. Selling, you know, he's on the block selling grams or whatever. He's selling the chicken quarters. All the chicken quarters that he done stole out of the kitchen. That's a hustle in prison. So I mentioned pizza, what else? Chicken quarters, just all the good stuff that people like. They're going to steal it out of the kitchen and they're going to sell it in the dorm. You see what I'm saying? Chicken patties, that's just how it works. What else do they have? The little steak cubes or whatever. Yeah, Salisbury steak, all of that. It's coming up out of there. It's a hustle. See, you got to survive in prison, man. Imagine you eat at probably 5 to 5:30 in the morning. Then you eat again right around 11:30. I say about 11 to 11:30 in the afternoon, or in the morning rather. And then you eat again at about 5. And you don't eat again until 5:30 in the morning. Well, if you don't have any commissary, any food in your locker, your people who's not looking out for you, or you just in there with nothing, and you smelling all that good banquet chicken that they cooking, and fried potatoes in the microwave, and salmon and pizzas and all that stuff, tacos that they're fixing. Oh man, your stomach is rumbling. So you got to hustle. You got to do whatever you got to do to make you some money. Working in that kitchen, that's typically where you see people go. If you don't got no, usually they start you off in the kitchen anyway. But especially if you don't got any money, don't have anybody looking out for you, man, you go work in that kitchen, man, and you make it do what it do. You make magic. Otherwise, you're going to starve, man. Oh, well, come on, Kens. No, you can't say that, Kens. Now you're in prison stealing again, and how you going to learn a lesson? Listen, man, it's about survival, man. It's about survival in the penitentiary, man. You do what you got to do to eat, man. That's just the way that it works. Big Blizzy, he's watching him. He's handing out all the chicken, passing, selling all the chicken. Hey, bruh. So here it is. You had all this chicken that you selling. I'm not trying to knock your hustle. He pulled him to the side. He didn't just call him out in front of everybody. He pulled him to the side. I'm not trying to knock your hustle, bruh. Get your hustle on. But you get your hustle on after you make sure that everybody else is everyone else is eating, rather. I had to eat a bologna sandwich, man. So you should throw me, a couple pieces of them chickens. Plus my dudes just got locked up, man. You know what I mean? Bro, I can't throw you none. I'm out. You out. You can't throw me nothing. You seen the confrontation. You should have came to me anyway on some G shit and been like, hey, bro, I'm sorry what happened, whatever. I was just trying to make my money, man. Sorry about your dude here. But you didn't even do that. So the two of them, they going back and forth or whatever. Now, Big Blizzy was known to knock people out, man. Now, he had knocked like 5 or 6 people out, but he had slept a couple people, man. I mean, just outright just snoring, slept them. But again, he wasn't a bully. He wasn't a troublemaker or anything like that. Me and Big Blizzy used to play chess all the time. Love cars. That's all he wanted to talk about was engines and motors and rims and V8s and now, hey, bro, I don't know nothing about this shit, man. Yo, move, man, on the chessboard. We go back and forth, laugh and joke, things of that nature. But he was cool dude. Two of them started having words. As I mentioned, Jimbo, he wasn't no small dude himself. He wasn't no chump. He was a convict. He wasn't an inmate. He was a convict. They going back and forth. Not really arguing, but you could see that they kind of, next thing you know, again. One time, one hit. Jim Bob goes to sleep, man. Sleeps in. Right there in the rec room. The rec room is like, it was a big old room, so they had like 3 or 4 microwaves. They had the little grills where you could fry your food on. Potatoes, your onions, just everything, anything that you would need in order to fry your food, grill-wise or whatever. Your peppers, oh, man, the grill, man. I used to be on the grill all the time. But nevertheless, we in this room, sleeps. It's probably about 50, 60 people in the room. Because, man, you got people that's on the JPay machines. You got people that's on the, that's playing chess, playing spades. You got dominoes. You got people that's playing poker. Everything that goes down. Then you got 2 big TVs. So you got people that's watching on one side, they watching the sports. And then actually it's one TV. So they watching the game. So, it's a whole lot of people. But they kind of like over in the corner. So when he slept him, police really didn't see it on the camera. Wasn't no police in the room. Slept him. I'm talking about slept him. They get him up or whatever before the police come in. help him up. He ends up going to his rack or whatever. That's what it was. Nobody thought really anything of it. Jim Bob wasn't trying to just let that go, though. He wasn't trying to let that go. See, oftentimes, man, when you get into a fight in prison, that's why people get stomped all the way out. Because typically, if you fight somebody in prison, you stomp them out so that you're sending them to medical or whatever, and they leave the yard. Both of y'all can't be on the yard. Well, obviously, if Big Blizzy wanted to, he could have really done some severe damage to this dude. He hit him, knocked him out, and walked off. Just let it be. Now, I have seen that happen before, and typically once that happens, you let it be. It just is what it is. It's over with. The dude that got knocked out, he don't say anything to the police. So the dude that knocked him out, it's respect because you didn't tell on him. So it's over. It's no more. It's just over with. This particular situation, Jim Bob wasn't hearing that. He wasn't having it. But he never said anything. Never said a word. He continued to get his hustle on while he was in the kitchen or whatever. Now, I guess he felt as though, maybe he felt as though he couldn't whoop Big Blizzy, straight up. But he had to get him. You got all type of friends. It's just like the real world. You got some people that work in medical. Hey, bro, I need this. I need that. How much you going to charge me for this or whatever? Jimbo wanted to get a shank. But he wasn't going to just get like a little toothbrush shank. Nah, he was going to get like a real live ice pick. He wanted a shank. He wanted to do Big Blizzy in. You done knocked me out, man. And you done embarrassed me in front of everybody? Nah, it's not going down that way. I take my little beverage drink, man. My little beverage break, rather. Y'all chime in on the comments and let me know where you're chiming in and tuning in from, man. I'm in Lexington, Kentucky myself. Let me know. He's working on getting his shank or what have you. He sees Big Blizzy. They see each other. Probably a good month and a half passes. No words. Nothing else ever said. Big Blizzy loved to play dominoes. Play chess too. Like I said, him and I play chess, but he loved to play dominoes. Me, I wasn't really a big dominoes player. Do I know how to play? Yeah. I just didn't. I never really got into dominoes like that. That's probably the most popular game in the penitentiary other than poker. I play a whole lot of spades and chess. Big Blizzy sitting there. They laughing, they joking, they talking crazy. They, smashing the domino and, what I'm saying? 25. You can't play, you can't play, you can't play. 25. You know what I'm saying? So, normal terminology that goes on at the dominoes table. Big Blizzy, as I mentioned, he don't talk much. He just sitting there, he laughing or whatever. He's sitting there kind of just chilling. Jim Bob comes in to make his move. When he comes in to make his move, he got like a real live ice pick. It's a real live ice pick, and I seen it. And he had a handle, a homemade handle. Well, it's all homemade, but he had a handle on it. A lot of times you put that handle on the end of it so that when you go to do whatever you're going to do with it, you get a firm grip and your hand doesn't, you see what I'm saying? I've even seen people tie it around their wrist so they don't drop it, they don't lose it. He comes in, quietly, don't say a word, walks right up to the table that they're playing dominoes on, reaches back like this, and he goes to stab Big Blizzy in the back. He comes in, nigger! All white guys, not all white guys, because every white guy ain't with that. But why is it though every time, nigger? Like on TV, like somebody's going to get hit by a car or somebody's going to fire a gun and somebody's going to get hit and they dive in front of the speeding bullet. No! In slow motion. That's how it was. Nigger! Yakka! Catches him right in his back, like his shoulder blade. Oh, man. I ain't never seen nothing like this before. I just happened to be there. I was always in, like I said, always in the game room. I ain't never seen nothing like this. Oh, my God. I done just witnessed somebody get shanked, stabbed, potentially unalived. There's only one issue. Whoever put this handle together for him, whether it was him or somebody else, I guess the impact when he went to poke him, it hit his back, right? It hit his back, his shoulder blade. But the handle didn't hold up. So the handle falls all the way down to the bottom. Catch my drift now. I'm trying to paint a picture. The handle that started at the top wasn't firmly, it wasn't firm. And it slides all the way down. So he really doesn't even stick Blam. Blam feels it, but he felt more of his fist, the side of his hand, than the actual ice pick. Big Blam turns around. The whole table's looking. The whole place is looking. Now, obviously, Jim Bob, he had his people in there. They knew what was going to go down. But nobody else knew. Like I said, it was a month and a half, 2 months later. Not Jim Bob, but Big Blizzy turns around. What the fuck? Oh my goodness. The fear. The imminent danger that Jim Bob knew. He knew that he was in. Immediately, knowing that he just tried to take his man out. And the weapon defaulted. And the look that was on Blam, Big Blizzy's face. He immediately takes off running. When he takes off running, there's some distance between him and Big Blizzy. Not that much distance, but there's some distance. When he takes off running, he falls. When he falls down on the ground, he's trying to get back up. He's trying, how when you fall and you're trying to get up and you fall again, like on the scary movies when you're running through the woods. Every place you can run, you run through the woods. And there's always somebody that falls and they mess their ankle up. Oh, just go on without me. I can't, just leave, just save yourself. No, I'm not leaving you. One of those situations as far as how you feel. Big Blizzy ran over the dude, man, and beat the holy snot. When I say the holy snot out of him, man, he beat the brakes. He just stomped him all the way out, man, and it was kicking him, just stomping him and stomping him and stomping him and stomping him. Jim Bob's people didn't jump in because Big Blizzy, he got people. Like I said, them Hoptown boys, man, they not no joke, man. I used to rock with the Hoptown boys. Pause though, double pause. Them dudes, man, is in Christian County, Kentucky, down there by Paducah and Callaway and on the western part of Kentucky. Hey, them dudes, man, it wasn't going down like that. So Jim Bob's people wasn't going to jump in because they seen what was going to happen. And plus, it was going to take 3 or 4 of them just to even have a remote chance with Big Blizzy. He stomped him, man. COs came in. They get it under control, whatever. They don't even hit, because I guess it was some cool COs. They didn't even hit Big Blizzy with the pepper spray. Locked him up. Took Jim Bob to medical or whatever. Well, upon reviewing the cameras, they see in prison, like, if you get in a fight, even if you get stomped out, you still gonna go to the hole. You're gonna go to medical, but you still gonna go to the hole. You haven't done anything. It's like when the police have you on the side of the road in handcuffs, sitting on the curb. No, it's for your protection, it's for your safety. You're just under investigation. You haven't done anything, but we have to keep you detained. You're not arrested. You have to be detained. So they throw you in the hole. Pending investigation. They see on the camera, and then you always gonna have some witnesses. People do tell in prison. This dude came up and tried to stab him. So what else was he supposed to do? What else was Big Blizzy supposed to do? So upon the findings of the investigation, they had let Big Blizzy out of the hole. No write-up or anything. He back on the yard. They asked him, did he want to press charges on Jim Bob for trying to unalive him? Of course, Big Blizzy's a gangster, man. Nah, man, I ain't on that, man. Well, they're not going to put him back on the same yard, so they sent him behind the wall, behind the fence, to a upper medium prison. He ends up doing so many days in the hole for having a shank, then trying to assault. Like, he really, really probably lost a whole lot of good time, didn't make parole, whatever. And in the meanwhile, Big Blizzy stayed there, man. And then he didn't have any issues as far as when it came to that situation. He didn't have any issues, period. The 2 prior times he had knocked somebody out. One time it was over like the TV or something like that. Dude was trying to truck the TV. And then I don't even know what other time that he ended up. But he didn't bother nobody. He was going to go out of his way to not fight, opposed to fight. Far from a bully. It's crazy because once they got to the brunt of the investigation, it wasn't even maybe 2 months later, they stopped serving chicken. They stopped serving chicken in the penitentiary. Now, I don't know about all the penitentiaries, but in this particular one, they stopped, and then eventually it got to all the penitentiaries. Chicken Day wasn't a joke, man. The inmate is always going to figure out a way to make some money and a way to get by, and especially on Chicken Day, because the guys would buy that chicken. Hey, bro, let me get 3 pieces of chicken. 3 pieces? Shit, give me $5. Man, let me get 10 of them pizzas, man. Okay, 10 pizzas, man. Oh, shit, I'm going to need $10 for 10 pieces of pizza. People, they going to buy it. Now, if they're taking stuff, just imagine, Jim Bob wasn't the only individual taking food out of the kitchen. You got several other inmates that are taking food out of the kitchen. Hell, you even have officers that were caught stealing, taking food home. No, hold on, Kens. How does an officer... Because let me explain to you how an officer does that. Or how a kitchen worker does that. You go into the freezer. You got a big old box of chicken patties, man. Big old box of real live chicken patties. Even though it's supposed to be chicken patties for this particular day, because that's the menu that you turn into the state, the inmates don't know what the menu's supposed to be. Or the inmates can't control if there's a substitution. It may be chicken patties this day, but they end up serving you Spanish rice. Spanish rice is rice with a little sauce in it. It's supposed to be meat, but it's not very much meat, and it's garbage. So they'll substitute that for chicken patties that you were supposed to have, because as long as they meet the calorie count, that's all that matters. And they'll take that food home. They figure out ways to sneak it and get it to their cars. It's happened. You've seen many of officers get walked to the yard, walked on the yard to their cars or whatever. And that's basically what they do. They walk you off the yard, walk you to your car, whatever. You've been fired for messing with an inmate or doing something for an inmate or stealing food or what have you. So there's always a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. So much game being ran in the penitentiary. And so you have all these individuals that's stealing food out of the kitchen on the days to where they have something that's good. It's not plentiful. But on the days where they have beans or just regular hot dogs that look like they half green, and with the beans and the coleslaw and a cookie, nobody's stealing that. It's plentiful. But on them taco days, on taco salads, and oh man, everybody's coming out. Everybody's coming to the chow hall, man. It just goes to show to where, like, people really think that you go to prison and you learn a lesson. Yeah, you can learn a lesson while you're in prison because nobody wants to be in prison. But oftentimes when you go to prison, you're doing the same thing that you was already doing on the street because it's survival mode. Locking people up is a business. I don't say that just to be saying it. Locking people up is a genuine business. That's why private prisons exist. That's why it's so much bed space to lock people up. If they didn't have private prisons, a lot of these guys, convicted felons, such as myself, you wouldn't even have a record. And if you did, your record wouldn't be anywhere near the way that it is now. They know that they have the space to just lock you up. So the smallest of crimes, they'll lock you up. Child support, they'll lock you up. And they have a charge here that's called criminal possession of a forged instrument. Criminal possession. There's 2 charges here. There's many, many charges, but there's 2 charges that come to mind when I think, like, it's ridiculous. Criminal possession of a forged instrument. I know all about it because I've been charged with it many times. You have a counterfeit bill. Or you have a check. Let's just say you have a check. It's a counterfeit check. It's not a real check. You never used the check. You had intentions on using the check, but you never used it. Well, let's just say you were going to use it, but you never did, and you just, I don't know, you thought that you threw everything out, and police search your car, and they find one of these checks. And oh, man, this check was 6 months old, and you never... They're going to take you to jail. And let's just say they find 3 checks. You never attempted to cash the check. Never got a dime off of it. They're going to charge you with criminal possession of a forged instrument. 3 counts. Each count is going to be $3,000. So your bond is going to be $9,000. $9,000. There's no bail bondsmen here. There's no automatic 10% bond here. So if your bond is $9,000, it's $9,000 until the judge reduces it, if the judge decides to reduce your bond. But you can shoot somebody and they make it. Shoot them, 1 or 2 times, 3 times or whatever, and they make it. But they charge you with first degree assault, which you are facing 10 to 20, but your bond is $7,500. Explain it. Make that make sense. If you shoot somebody, you stab somebody, whatever you do, and they're not unalive, the first degree assault. There's no attempted murder or anything like that. It's first degree assault. Your bond is $7,500. But if you get caught with 3 checks, 3 counterfeit bills, you never presented them to anyone, you never tried to use them, you never tried to, it's $3,000 per one, $9,000, man. Make that make sense. Come on, Kings, you exaggerating. No, I'm not. What do I got to exaggerate for? Make it make sense, man. System is crooked. Whole thing's about making money. Do people need to be locked up? Yeah, certain people do need to be locked up. You out here messing with kids and elderly people and robbing people and hurting people and shooting people. Yeah. But if you done ran into Walmart or the grocery store or whatever, and you done stole some items, yeah, you can't just be stealing. These companies, I get it. But to give somebody 3 years and then enhance their sentence all the way to 10 years because they had a prior felony and sentence enhancement because priors or whatever, habitual offender, that's ridiculous, man. Give them 90 days in the county, 6 months in the county. Every time you want to come here and get caught stealing, because if you get caught stealing, guess what? They ain't lost nothing. Eventually, you keep doing 6 months, you're going to get tired of that. You see what I'm saying? You're going to get tired of doing 6 months in the county jail. Crazy things, man. Crazy things in the prison system, man. Hopefully, you all like the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And be sure to hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action and this heat, that's what it sounded like when Rogers got his big ass knocked out. You're amongst the first to receive, man. Real Kens TV. Shout out to Rogers, man. I hope you're watching, big boy.